Well, hello there. I finally made it back in. Wow. I do apologize. Couple of days off. Lots of things going on in life. But I'm here, and I really am happy to be here. I know. I say it every time, but I mean it every time. This is my joy. Now, when I was thinking about getting this one done tonight, and I was planning on it and everything, I was even going to probably order dinner out or something. And I decided, no, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do something else. Don't know what yet, but we'll figure it out as we go. It is amazing, when we're moving through life to think that God wrote life. Yeah, powerful, isn't it? I'm doing a teaching right now out of the out of the Bible and talking about your personal scriptures written for you to help you and support you and lift you up. Might want to go looking for those. The reality is, God is in our life. I know, I keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it again. God is in our life. He wishes to be. He wishes to be intimate with us. He wishes to be in relationship with us. He wishes to walk through the worst storms and also those best moments. I just felt like I'd reiterate that. I'm just going to call that God is with us. If you wish to get a hold of me, you can do that through Eric at starthealing.me. And you send me a message, and I'll send you a link, and you click that link, and you book an appointment, and we'll talk. It'll be a good talk. We'll see if we match, if I'm part of your healing puzzle. Let's find out. Like, share, subscribe. Glad you people are out there. Comments are always nice too. One way or the other, I may get to them. I do apologize if I haven't. I do read them when I get to them. So thank you for them. Well, it's Wednesday here for me, so it's time for a story from the life of Christ, and time of Christ on earth. I'll call it that way. Not exactly how we say it, but time on earth stories. Jesus' time on earth stories. There's how we say it. We get it. Anyway, this one's short, I would think. Let's hope. Enough energy in the tank for a little one. So we'll give you one. This one I got from an unusual place. This one wasn't while I was doing archaeology or moving big stones. That's all I was doing. Everybody else was doing the artwork. I was moving big stones. But this one came to me in a space that I didn't expect. This came to me while I was in Scotland. Um, can't even remember the name of the village. That's terrible, isn't it? But that's what happened. Something that was brought to them they had held on to, and it was a simple story. But it was around the time that Christ was walking because there was a mention of that in the story. So let's get going. So, right from Scotland she came. Eh? There was this woman, and she had been traveling for quite a while. She had witnessed many things. She had stopped for a while in the Middle East, but she was going to keep traveling. She kind of required to. She had some things going on that made traveling a good thing. She stopped. She heard a man talk about a man who had just been crucified not that long ago. Hours, actually. Too bad you didn't get to meet him. He was really cool. Um, but apparently wasn't what everyone thought he was. Well, she was around for 3 days. She heard he rose. That was amazing. And she ran into one of the ladies that walked with him, and that lady told her about the way, and she learned. But she still had her issues, and she said she had to go, so she did. Somehow, through movement and situation, she ended up in Scotland. And she started a small little church in a small village of the way. Eventually, that church would be visited by a couple of the apostles put forward by Paul before he passed. The interesting thing is what happened on her way to Scotland. And that's what we're going to talk about. You thought we were in the story. Oh no, we're in the epitaph. Well, no, that's not the right one. The preamble, we'll call it that. I like that word. So as she left Jerusalem, um, quite excited, she had met God in a real way, and she felt amazing, astonishing. She started to travel because she had to, and as she moved forward, and someone joined her, said, "I'll go with you for a while, make sure you're safe." And she looked, and it was one of the women that had been with Christ. And she was excited because now she could learn more. And she did. She learned for quite a while along the road. There was a point where the woman took her aside and said, "You must hear God." And God just told us to go here. And she hid in amongst some rocks for a few minutes, and some riders went by that weren't nice. Would have been nice for them if they'd been caught. And she goes, "Oh, wow, God does that? Yes. Okay, I will listen more." And so they walked along for a little farther. The lady said, "I'm coming up to my space where I'm going to have to turn back, but I wanted to get you to here." And she goes, "Thank you." But as they were getting there, she goes, "Oh, let's go hide in the rocks again." So they went and hid in the rocks. There weren't many, but they found them. And they hid, and when you know it, some Roman soldiers went by that looked less like they were wishing to protect the public and more likely to hurt the public. So when they passed, the woman said, "See, now you're hearing." Yes. So as she moved her way towards this place where she was being called to, where she would eventually put a church, she had those many moments where she pulled off to the side, where she chose not to take a ride that was offered to her, where she talked about those moments and moments of brilliant light from God, telling her, "Ah, nope, don't do that. This ship, not that ship." When she got to the ship she didn't go on sunk. The one she was on went across. And eventually she found some people and they helped her get where she was going. But there was more in the scroll about how God had shown her where food was, who the right people to talk to, and who was the incorrect people to talk to. And all the way along, she was spreading the way. She was talking about this being that had gone to a cross. This being was, of course, the Son of God. His name was Yeshua on earth. Some called him Christ, some called him Jesus. And she would lead whoever wished into that glorious thing that she had found. She did quite a bit of that on the way, walking in the way. There was a young man that she ran into that happened to be taking a boat to the Isle of Scotland, and she was overjoyed because that's where she was supposed to be going. And he offered her the journey for teaching him on the way. And so she did. She taught him everything as the boat crossed. When they got to the other side, he said, I know some people that would also like to hear. So she ended up talking with them. And a while later, as she was moving forward, this young man was going with her and saying he was not turning back. And a couple of others were the same. So now she had followers following the way, following her. And it was quite interesting. She had moments where she had discussions with people that did not believe as she believed. And she was gentle and kind and merciful, and she was sure of what she knew. And eventually she would get to that village, and eventually she would bring the church to that village, the Church of the Way. And that church is still in that little village. That's where I got to read this scroll. I know, there isn't much there, is there? But there is a lot, right? She would have been spreading all the way along. Miracles where she was safe. Miracles she traveled alone as a woman, not a safe thing to do, always. She made it all the way to Scotland, founded a little church of the way. Eventually married that man that was following her around, that young gentleman, and went on to have a life. And eventually some of the apostles, as I said, found her. And at one point she met the man who had created a monastery. It was an interesting story, isn't it? How God could use just that moment. She arrived just as Christ was going through the transition, but she was there during his life and death and resurrection. And she became a believer. I think we'll leave it there. I did say it was going to be short, didn't I? I know everybody's going to be looking for that village. It's there. I can't remember the name of it, and I do apologize. If it ever comes to me, I will put it in the comments once I figure out how. I am YouTube illiterate, but I can do this. This I can do. I have other people that are going to help me do other things and make this more smooth and maybe a little bit more than just a talking head. But maybe you like this head that talks. I don't know. Let's go to this. We go to um, blessing. And we just ask for a blessing of peace and joy, always. That you have insight, and you have answers, and you have the blessing of knowing the love and the cherishing of God for you. Whatever that brush is going to paint in God's hands, according to His will and wish, according to your will and wish, it can be. So we come before you, Father, and we thank you for this amazing story that you allowed me to read in a little church in a place I cannot remember the name of, and I do apologize. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, sometimes we are amnesic to things. We don't realize things, but we do know, and this is our way back to you, is it not? That we basically have to say that we can't do this on our own. We're sinners, we know that. We ask forgiveness, that's good. And then we accept what Christ has done for us and become a follower of the way and allow Christ to live with us and to create a new heart in us, to give us a new song and a journey. And then we can accept the Holy Spirit that He left behind, that one that comforts and strengthens and gives us the power to live that life that we are living on the way through the narrow gate. And tell someone you will wish to anyway. Ask God for the right one. You'd be amazed. Maybe you'll be like her, making disciples along the way. And if it's your 10,000th time or 100th time, then I ask God to open a new and amazing teaching to you that brings you closer to God. Shows you his character and the way that he feels and acts for you. And I thank you for doing all of this, God. I thank you for pushing back the darkness so that they can find the light. And I say, give us grace and courage and strength and mercy along the way. And we say, thankful, grateful, gratitude, thankful, grateful, gratitude, thankful, grateful, gratitude. Standing in awe and honor, respect, allowing all glory to flow to Father, Spirit, Son. This is, and so this is. Amen. Be blessed.